Celeb Secrets is hanging out with Brooke Eden today, a very familiar face. So welcome back to Celeb Secrets.
Thank you. Good to hang out with you.
It's a new chapter of your life. You're going to be releasing new music very, very soon. So just recap us a little bit on what's been going on.
My music before was edgier, a little darker, a little more cynical. And now my music is happy. I will of course put out unhappy songs, I'm sure at some point. It's not like I don't write them anymore, but this music specifically is very happy, sunny vibes. And 3 years ago, I got off the road and just wanted to spend time on figuring out really what I wanted to say and what I wanted my sound to be. And I had a write with Jesse Frazier, who is now my producer. And I was like, hey, listen, I want to create this sound with you that's been living in my head, but I haven't been able to get out into a track yet. And I was like, it's retro, it's soulful, it's country. And he's from Detroit. So he definitely has this like Motown soul that just lives within his soul. And I described what I wanted to hear, and the first 4 chords that he pulled out were the beginning of my new sound. So over the last 3 years, I've just been spending a lot of time, figuring out that sound with him, writing songs, saying what I want to say. And also I've been on a personal journey of happiness and just becoming myself that has been so rewarding.
And talking about that journey, how did you realize maybe 4 years ago that you were like, okay, I need to stop touring. I really need to take a break, mentally, physically for me. And then you chose now to then start coming out with this music.
To be honest, I got sick with, they don't even know really what it was. I had ulcers in my small intestine. My doctor was basically like, hey, listen, there's no magic pill to heal this. Like, you have to go off the road and get 9 hours of sleep a night and really take the time to heal your body. No alcohol. I had a very restrictive food diet. And so that really was the catalyst that made me realize, oh wow, like I really need to take this time for myself and take the opportunity of that time to use it to, get where I want to be in my music.
Was that hard for you, living such a life that it was so crazy and so demanding and fun, to then being at home and, you have to sleep 9 hours a night. You can't go out with your girlfriends and go to the bar. Like, that had to, hurt mentally.
At first it was terrifying because I just couldn't imagine my life that way. But after spending, a couple of weeks not drinking and, getting the right amount of sleep and drinking a lot of water, it was crazy to feel my body like thanking me. I think it was God's timing, just telling me, hey girl, you need to slow your ass down.
Yeah. And I feel like that prepared you kind of for the pandemic that we're in now, because you can't do what our normal lives were before this all happened.
Other than, seeing my friends every weekend and sometimes on the weeknights, my life has been very similar to this pandemic, and seeing family, of course. I would go home to Florida a lot more and see my family.
So now let's get into the music. We've been saying that it's been 4 years since you released Act Like You Don't, and we got this new song called No Shade. So I want to know the meaning behind it. Why is it called No Shade?
So kind of where we left off from Act Like You Don't. Act Like You Don't was about a tumultuous relationship that I was in. And it wasn't even really meant to go this way, but it just kind of worked out that No Shade is almost a continuation of where I was then and where I am now. So No Shade is about coming out of that tumultuous relationship and, after you kind of lost who you were in this toxic place and pulling yourself out of that dark place and figuring out who you are now and, realizing your growth, just kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The song No Shade, we wrote it 3 days before we went into the recording studio to record these 3 songs. And it just so happened that was the beginning of the story. I didn't even know that we were trying to write that. It's about someone coming into their own, and I really feel like that's where I've been for the last 3 years, is coming into myself and figuring out who I am. It's called No Shade because, you're pulling yourself out of this dark place, but if you listen to the song, it's also about pulling yourself out of a shady situation. And it's also like a no judgment zone. Like, hey, listen, I know that we were in this relationship for a long time and it was a bad relationship, but at the end of the day, like, no shade to you. I stayed in this relationship as long as you did, you know, like, no shade. I've fully moved on from you. I have no problems with you. I'm just doing my life without you, and it's all good.
So now you talked about how you're gonna have 3 new songs, right? Or 2 more after No Shade. And
Yeah.
you're saying how it's telling a story. And I know now, relationship-wise for you, you are very happy. So
Yeah.
are we gonna see more of that new relationship that you're in these new songs?
Yes. So the first, No Shade, is just basically the beginning. That's my personal story. And then in the 2 songs after that, you will see how my love life and my relationship now kind of comes into the picture. And that's also weaved into the music videos. Each song has a music video that goes with that. So you'll get to see kind of the progression of, okay, I was in this tumultuous relationship, me coming into myself as a whole person, and then me meeting the love of my life and seeing how that kind of progresses as well.
And I love how open you guys are. You know, you're constantly posting pictures of each other on Instagram. And I feel like that makes you feel better in a way too, because like you're happy, you're showing off that you're happy, and you don't have to worry about anything that anyone's saying.
I mean, honestly, we just really like each other a lot. It's just fun. You know, I never thought that I would want to marry someone. Music has been my life forever, and I think that I just thought I was an independent woman. I just thought, you know, love, marriage, that isn't for me. And when I met Hillary, that all changed.
Totally. And how supportive is Hillary of your music? Is she going to be like the one in the front row, right, when we're back playing shows?
She's the one putting me on stage. She's like my hype girl. She like makes sure I'm like good before everything. She could not be more supportive of this whole crazy life that we've chosen for ourselves. And she's in the industry on the business side of things herself. So it's very helpful that she kind of knows how this world goes, and there's no explaining that needs to be done. She just gets it. She's so supportive.
Let's talk about these other 2 new songs that you have. Do you maybe have like a release date for them? What can we expect? Obviously, it's going to be the same sound that you're teasing, and you're going to be working with Jesse on these too, right?
Yeah. So the second song that you'll hear is called Sunroof. I was sitting in a parking lot. Hillary was going in to go Mexican food, because that's just what would be happening in my life. I realized it's the first warm day of the year. It's the first day that I can open my sunroof and I'm not gonna freeze. I just thought, wow, what a freeing feeling after we had a very cold winter that year. I remember we had like 3 ice storms. I just remember thinking it's the most hopeful feeling, kind of like that promise that spring is around the corner and that it's gonna warm up and we're gonna get a summer again. And in that moment, I was like, wow, this feeling reminds me of what it felt like when I was falling in love. I had this idea in my head, and I went to Jesse and Sarah Buxton, my co-writers, and I was like, y'all, listen, I have this idea. It's called Sunroof. It's about falling in love and the feeling of opening your sunroof for the first time that year. And they were like, we love it. And that song was also the first song that we wrote in my new sound. You've Got No Choice is about falling in love and your heart choosing who you're falling in love with. It's such a funny thing, because when you're a kid, I feel like you have this like checklist of like, this is who my future partner is gonna be, you know? It's gonna be tall, dark, and beautiful. And at the end of the day, you know, it's really this crazy, love is this really crazy phenomenon where it just kind of chooses you. And I got very lucky because I would have chosen her over and over again myself. And so that song is about, you know, having no choice but to love that person. It's a very romantic love song.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And now, do we have a release date for any of these? Are we thinking maybe like the next month or so, over the course of the year?
Yeah, it's the first Friday of February, the first Friday of March, and the first Friday of April.
Oh my gosh, exciting. And now is this gonna, go into an EP release or an album? What else are you working on?
Girl, I am writing. I have so many songs that I want to share with y'all. We just kind of want to see how these songs go, and we'll kind of go from there. But if you're asking if I am waiting to be told that I can put out an album, yes, I am. Am I ready for it? Yes, I am.
We are Celeb Secrets. I feel like I have to ask you about like the secret process behind making these songs. Do you maybe have any like secrets from the studio that we wouldn't know when y'all were writing them?
I will tell you that whenever I record, I wake up every morning and have tea. I just do that every morning. But something that I realized, and I learned it on radio tour when I was getting up and like singing at 7 a.m. every morning with these radio stations. Everyone, you have to do like vocal exercises, which are like very funny. I kind of think of warm tea as leg warmers for a ballerina, because that really is like my secret sauce. If I don't have my tea before I sing, especially, before 4 p.m., it's not my voice. It's crazy. So I will say warm tea is like my secret sauce.